I think there's just one thing that I think makes it harder for adults to learn figure skating, but it's not that you don't have the ability, it's not that your brain is not cut out for it, it's not that you don't have the flexibility. No. So you've watched the Olympics. You really would like to try for this sport, but you think that maybe because of your age, you won't be able to learn that much, to do that much, or even to participate that much. Well, you've come to the right place, my friend. Hi, I am Pau Diaz. I'm an adult figure skater and a complete enthusiast of this sport who lives and does figure skating in Mexico City. And here I share with you my experiences, and I think we can compare and contrast, because doing adult figure skating in different parts of the world I think can be very different. But there's one thing that I think most people who are interested in maybe becoming adult figure skaters have questions and serious doubts about, and it is, am I too old to start figure skating? And the short answer is no. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. One of the top questions I get asked the most is, am I too old to start figure skating? Some people ask it because they are around, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15, and they think like, well, maybe it's too late for me to accomplish something and maybe go to the Olympics. And I'll talk about that later. People who are older, who are adults, think that because they are older, that they will not be able to learn moves in figure skating or coordinate them or manage them. Before we get into that, I'm going to share with you my story. I started skating when I was around 8. I started roller figure skating, and I took it for about a year, and then I just left everything behind me and moved on to different sports, different activities. When I was older, I was in college, and because I knew how to skate, I did an audition for a theater play, and I ended up getting one of the very few female roles because I was able to skate, which was very exciting. And I thought like, maybe I should retake on skating, but I was a broke, scholarship dependent student that couldn't really afford to go back into skating. So it was a few years later, when I was working and having a really great job, that I could just afford the luxury, because at the time it was a luxury for me, to actually get back into figure skating, because I had never skated on ice, just to pass the time and go with friends and have fun, but not really like a discipline, like a sport. I started investigating, inquiring if there were figure skating rinks around me that I could afford, what were the prices, and I realized that actually I could afford it. And then I just took advantage that my boyfriend went to Canada, and I asked him to please bring me back my first figure skates and that sort of thing. When I was a child, everything that had to do with coordination, with body coordination, was so hard for me. I don't know, maybe it was kind of a family thing. I thought I wasn't meant to be a good dancer or a good figure skater or whatever. When I was around 18, I started doing flamenco, and I thought like, well, maybe I can do some things, maybe I can, I don't know. It was still hard for me, but I could do it. When I was 28 and I started getting into figure skating, it was somewhat hard, but it wasn't as hard as I imagined. And now that I am an adult, I can understand how to do certain movements. In fact, sometimes I've had figure skating teachers who cannot really explain into words how the movement is achieved, and it's like this now, that they'll go and do it and then they don't explain it to you, but whenever they don't explain it to me, I cannot do it. So as long as I understand the movement, I can coordinate it. And that's something I've developed through all my life, because I was really a kid who couldn't coordinate herself. Like, I had no ability to doing that, and I actually didn't like, I don't know, dancing in public or that sort of thing, because I just felt like such a klutz, and so like, oh my god, I can't do this, it's so hard and it's so embarrassing to do it in front of people. And look, all my family, my whole family were Latins, my mom's side of the family is full of people who can really dance and do crazy things with their feet, and I was like, well, I think I'm impaired I cannot do this, I cannot coordinate. And now that I've been figure skating for some years, I can actually do a lot more stuff than when I was a kid. I don't know about you, but maybe you just thought you weren't cut out to do some things, and you can do them as an adult because you have your experience, your brain is a lot more developed. You can do some strategies. Like, kids don't do strategies, they just try to copy a movement, or they don't, not necessarily understanding them. And when you're an adult, you fight. Your brain is so used to understanding things before attempting them. So actually, I wouldn't say that it's actually harder, or that you're not going to be able to learn anything. You might be a lot more prepared than you were as a kid to start figure skating. Another thing that concerns people, like, it's not like your brain reaches a certain age and it says like, no, I'm just not gonna learn anything anymore, I cannot coordinate my limbs, I am just not cut out for this shit. No, your brain doesn't do that. Actually, your brain loves learning things, and if it's fun things and if it's challenging things, actually your brain is so happy, and that helps you in the long run for a lot of things. Not just being happy and exercising. Your brain starts getting strength in your connections. That's why I think after doing 5 years of figure skating, I can do a lot more things and coordinate a lot more moves. And I'm talking about, okay, spins, sure, okay, jumps, but I mean, it's really hard to do steps, people. Don't underestimate dance whatsoever. Another thing that concerns a lot of people is that they're not going to be as flexible as they were as kids. Once again, I was not flexible as I was a kid. I mean, yeah, like I can do this with my fingers, like they're made of chewing gum or something, and I've been always able to do that. But when I was a kid, I never did the splits. I never worked on ballet. Like I said, I was not a dancer, and I didn't do gymnastics or anything that was relevant for my stretching ability, for my flexibility. So I was never able to do that. And I think right now, I'm 34, and I might be the closest I've ever been to actually achieving a split. People think that when you're a kid, you're more flexible. Yes, you are, but in the end, even as a kid or as an adult, you still have to work towards getting more flexibility. Flexibility is, and this was told to me by a ballet teacher nonetheless, it's just like going to the gym and picking up weights and lifts that you can build out muscle. Well, just as much as you can build muscle, you can build flexibility if you are consistent and you work towards that, and if you work with specialists, it's even better. But it's not like you cannot achieve things. Also, your body doesn't say like, okay, I'm 19, I'm done moving, I am done being flexible, I am done learning things. No, your body does not do that. Your body basically adapts to whatever you put it to work on. And actually, flexibility is so much good for you because it's going to help you prevent injuries. And talking about injuries, I think there's just one thing that I think makes it harder for adults to learn figure skating, but it's not that you don't have the ability, it's not that your brain is not cut out for it, it's not that you don't have flexibility. No. Actually, you know what the hardest thing is that your brain knows fear, knows that there are a lot of things that can happen, knows that there are a lot of ways you can get injured. So to be able to be a figure skater, you need to be fearless of speed, you need to be fearless of jumping, you need to be fearless of jumping on the ice with your blades. You need to be fearless of starting spinning fast and that sort of thing. So that's the one thing that I would say it's harder as an adult, because your brain, and I would partly blame this on the movies. Your brain is so used to thinking about the possible consequences of doing something that it redeems as dangerous, that it's not going to let you go do things as easily as you did when you were a kid, because most kids are fearless. I mean, there are a lot of kids that are anxious and that really don't like the experience of going into the ice. It's going to be hard to fight against this fear, and one of the tips that my psychologist gave me and that I give to you is you need to be friends with your fear. You need to be thankful about your fear. Like, you have to tell your brain and your fear, thank you for taking care of me, but I think this situation is going to be okay. It needs to be gradual. Like, your figure skating is going to go gradual. You're going to be going from beginners to intermediate to advanced. That's how the fear is going to go. Like, you're going to start with little jumps, like I don't know, like a bunny hop or a mazurka or that kind of thing, and at first, or a waltz jump, and at first it's going to be very scary, and then you're going to get the hang of it, and maybe one day you'll get the hang of it, and then you'll need to learn another jump, and it's going to be scary, and then you're going to keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, and it's going to be okay in the end. So yeah, you can learn figure skating at any age. As I said on my last video on the perks of being an adult figure skater, by the way, go subscribe, because I'm going to be giving out so much more tips for adult figure skaters. As I said on my other video, there are actually a lot of competitions and international things you can participate as an adult. You can compete at any age. Actually, there's no cap level at competitions. You can compete until you're 90, 95, whatever age. I've known people, and you can find them on the internet, who maybe quit figure skating when they were a kid and they are starting over, or there are people who started skating when they were 30, when they were 40, when they were 50. Like, there are a lot of things that you can do. Arm yourself up with protections, because falls are going to happen and you need to get used to that idea. It's essentially part of the sport. Get protections, how to do a good fall, an actual good fall. Your body will get used to it, and most of the times terrible things will not happen. I promise you, it's going to be great. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're considering about starting figure skating as an adult, leave it in the comments. I'll be very happy to read you and answer all of your questions and comments. It's going to be pretty fun. I want to form a community here on YouTube. I think being an adult figure skating is quite an adventure, and it's not closed up like other sports who don't take adults in. So it's a miracle, and we have to take advantage of that. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!